Good evening to the ones marked by storms, to the ones society tried to erase, silence, or destroy. Welcome. I speak to those who were buried under curses, danced through fire and emerged not in chains, but grinning in the ashes. You felt it, didn't you? That suffocating force, like invisible fingers squeezing the breath from your peace. The dreams that rotted into nightmares, the sudden panic, the sleepless spiral, the 3 a.m. awakenings with your heart racing and no enemy in sight. You thought it was just anxiety, just your mind playing tricks, but no, it wasn't paranoia. It was real. They were out there, whispering your name in shadows, lighting black candles, calling on things they didn't understand, conjuring hate, malice, rituals soaked in envy, all aimed at you. They didn't just want to hurt you. They wanted to obliterate you. Your joy made them sick. Your resilience was an insult. Your existence, a problem. They didn't want you to break. They wanted your soul to rot. Your mind to implode under pressure it was never meant to hold. And yet, you survived. You bled behind closed doors. You screamed in silence. You questioned your sanity, your worth, your path. But you never stopped moving forward. And now? Now the illusions are cracking. The masks are slipping. Because the truth always shows its face in the end. That karmic leech. That emotional parasite. The one disguised as a friend, a lover, a soulmate, a partner. Caught, red hand, bowing to forces they couldn't comprehend. Caught weaving filth into your timeline. Caught staring into mirrors, whispering spells to siphon your joy, to steal your glow, to tie your future to their misery. And your ex, that spineless coward, that quiet co-conspirator, they saw it. They walked into truth. And now, they can't unsee it. Their conscience is screaming. Their eyes wide open. Their hands shaking. Because deep down, they always knew something was wrong. They felt it in the pit of their gut, but they stayed, they aligned, and now they're terrified. Terrified of what they summoned, terrified of what they touched, terrified of you. Because you're not the victim anymore. You're the reckoning. The storm in human form, the one who sends curses back through bloodlines, the spellbreaker, the walking return to sender, the divine disruptor sent to shatter illusions. They mistook your tears for weakness. They thought love made you soft. But beneath that softness was a wrath they couldn't fathom. You didn't strike back with hexes. You didn't light candles. You evolved. You transformed. You rose. So high that even their demons can't reach you. Even if they prayed to every shadow they ever called. Now look at them, drowning in their own poison, trapped in the rituals they sent your way. Because karma doesn't use wands. Karma watches. Karma waits. Dark magic has one fatal flaw: desperation. It feeds on fear. It is chaos pretending to be control. And you are fire. You are the embodiment of ancestral strength built from bloodlines that have walked through centuries of storms and still stood tall. You were never meant to crumble. You were born to rise. Through curses, through fire, through every enemy that dared whisper your name. You were made to shine light so violently that it exposes every shadow that thought it could hide. They played with energies they didn't respect. And now, they can't escape the aftermath. Let them squirm. Let your ex sweat through every night they remember what they witnessed. Let the karmic gag on the venom they brewed for you. You're not the hunted anymore. You are the haunting, the divine lesson in flesh, the crowned reaper of every lie they tried to cast. So let them curse, let them cry, let them collapse. You've outgrown it all. And what they failed to kill in you will now rise to dismantle them. Oh, you want more? Good, because the story's not over, and neither are you. You see, they thought they were gods, with stolen rituals, with graveyard dirt, with borrowed spells and envy. They thought they could twist your fate, rewrite your path. But what they summoned wasn't power. It was backlash. It was consequence. They cracked open doors they couldn't shut, and now, every night they hear it. Footsteps in the dark, shadows moving when lights are off, whispers that sound like your name. Not because you're reaching out, but because they triggered forces that don't let go. They forgot. You don't curse the chosen. You don't touch the anointed. Because you don't just fail, you awaken something unstoppable. You were always the glitch in their cursed matrix, the anomaly they couldn't trap. They couldn't understand your light, so they tried to extinguish it. But all they did was light a fire they can't put out. And that fire is you. And your ex? Oh, they thought silence would save them. They thought ignorance would protect them. But betrayal is a contract, and that contract has come collecting. They're seeing things now, feeling things, presence in empty rooms, whispers with no mouths, nightmares in daylight. Not because you cursed them, but because you became something they can't erase. You're not reaching out. You're not chasing them, but you are everywhere. You became the consequences. Their living, breathing karma. And that karmic, that manipulative shadow puppet, they didn't just get caught. They exposed themselves. They underestimated the power of someone who's lived through hell and brought back wisdom. They thought you'd stay broken, but you didn't just survive. You transformed. You became divine. Every tear, a sacred ritual. Every heartbreak, a blacksmith's hammer forging your blade. Every betrayal, a sharpening stone. While they were casting, you were becoming. You became the one thing they can't hex, touch, or understand. They asked for war. But this isn't spiritual warfare anymore. This is a cosmic reckoning. And you're not coming back. You are the comeback. You're the legend told in warnings, the story they whisper behind trembling lips. They tried to tie your soul in knots, but the only thing they managed to do was tie themselves to destruction. Because true magic, it isn't in blood or bones. It's in resurrection. It's in rising when nothing is left. It's in staring death in the face and saying, "You should have finished me." Because now, you're not just breathing, you're dangerous. You are the force they'll never unsee, the phoenix that turned the ashes into armor. They prayed for your downfall. Now they're watching you fly. And that is their punishment. So let them spiral. Let them unravel. Let every chant they ever spoke against you echo back tenfold. You don't need revenge. You are the revenge. Your existence is justice in motion. Your success is their failure. Your glow is their regret. And your transformation, the curse they called on themselves. They bound you with fear. But all it did was remind you of who you truly are. You are the generational reset. The ancestral vengeance. The nightmare they created. Let them twitch in their beds. Let your ex relive every second of the moment they chose darkness over you. Let them wake up each day buried under the weight of the chaos they helped unleash. Because you're not done. You've transcended. Smile. Let them watch. Let them scheme. Let them curse again if they dare. Because the higher you rise, the more powerless their shadows become. Their spells turn to dust. Their intentions backfire. And the universe, it laughs and says, "Not this one, not anymore." You were never prey. You were the trap. You were never a sacrifice. You were the flame. Oh, you thought the fire was done? No. This is where it starts to roar, because now your silence is louder than thunder. Your peace? It's unsettling. Your stillness? Terrifying. They expected a reaction, a breakdown, a scream, but instead, you walked away like a storm that decided not to destroy the village, but could have. And that calm, that quiet exit, it's what haunts them the most. Because silence from someone who survived spiritual war is never weakness. It's warning. You carry something now. Not just wisdom, not just strength, but proof. Proof that light cannot be buried. That divine protection is not a myth. That you are not the one to be played with. And every time they remember your name, it comes with a tremble. Not because you're chasing revenge, but because your growth is unbearable to those still crawling in the dirt they threw. You see, they never expected you to evolve into a mirror. Now they're forced to look into what they truly are. Every lie they spun is choking them. Every manipulation they whispered is coming back as echoes. Louder, colder, sharper. They made their bed with shadows. Now even the shadows reject them. And you? You're not just healed. You're recalibrated. You're divinely armed. Your aura? Electrified. Your energy? Unreadable. They can't tap into your frequency anymore. They can't reach you in dreams. They can't disturb your path. You've sealed the gates, and the only thing they're left with is regret wrapped in fear. Let them scroll through your photos with shaking hands. Let your ex see you thriving, glowing, untouchable, and realize they lost access to something no ritual can resurrect. Let the karmic wake up in cold sweats, seeing your face not in fear, but in failure. Because you were the test, and they flunked hard. Now you're untouchable. Not because you fight dirty, but because you don't fight at all. You ascend, you walk through fire barefoot with grace. You rebuild temples where they tried to bury you. You wear peace like war paint, and that's what they'll never understand. Your power doesn't scream. It radiates. They can't bind you anymore. Their magic has withered. Their alliances have crumbled. Every piece they moved on the board just circled back. Checkmate. Because when you mess with divine timing, when you try to manipulate chosen ones, when you align yourself with curses, you pay. Not in coin, not in words, but in torment. And they are paying now, with silence, with stagnancy, with sleepless nights and spiritual debt they can never reap. And let's be clear, this isn't ego. This isn't vengeance. This is cosmic justice, a divine balancing act. You were the sacrifice. Now you're the sword. You were the lamb. Now you're the lion. You were the target. Now you're the threat. Let every room they enter whisper your energy. Let every mirror show them what they tried to destroy. Let every failed ritual remind them, some souls don't burn, they ignite. You are the flare in their forgotten prayers, the divine backlash of every wicked spell. The flame they lit with hatred now burns in your eyes, with clarity, power, and purpose. So walk tall, not with arrogance, but with divine authority. Smile, not because you're cruel, but because you know they can't touch what God has claimed. They can't break what the universe has reforged. They can't hex a soul that was chosen before birth. And as you rise higher, don't look back. Let them sit in the chaos they created. Let them stare at the gates they tried to close behind you, now sealed forever. You've become legend, myth, lesson, and they, a warning. A cautionary tale of what happens when darkness dares to touch light. This is your story now. Not of revenge, but resurrection. Not of war, but wisdom. Not of survival, but sovereignty. You didn't just win, you became the consequence. Would you like this section paired with visuals, narration script, or title suggestions for YouTube upload?